Hello there. Welcome to Comcast Local Edition. I'm Robert Tranum. Joining me now in Annapolis is Delegate Roger Manno, who represents District 19 here in Maryland. Delegate, welcome.
Thank you.
Let's talk about something that is near and dear to your heart, and that's healthcare and genetics. Tell us about it.
You know, one of the greatest healthcare challenges that we face in the state of Maryland right now is the very nasty process of healthcare discrimination. That occurs when an individual goes to get a healthcare policy, and because there's a genetic predisposition to a disease, you may be differently rated or denied a policy altogether. Let me give you an example. Your great-grandmother had breast cancer or heart disease or sickle cell or Tay-Sachs disease, for example. My mother is a breast cancer survivor. Your great-grandmother had that disease, and 2 generations later, you're denied a policy because you may have the marker for that disease. It's unfair, and I've introduced a package of bill to stem that practice altogether, HB 1, 2, 11, and 12. And the chairman of the Health Committee has impaneled a working group with myself on that working group to look at this issue in terms of a comprehensive package of bills or a single solution to finally end that very nasty process in Maryland.
Well, good luck with that. Let's stay on the topic of healthcare for a few more moments. Healthcare and small businesses. This is something at the top of your list as well.
Our small businesses in this recession are really struggling. One of the things they're struggling with, those trying to do the right thing, providing health care for the workers that they employ. In a recession, stimulus in the form of economic assistance to those small businesses so that they can either continue to provide that coverage or expand the coverage is very important. My bill, HB 4, the Small Business Health Insurance Stimulus Act, would more than double the number of employees that would qualify under a state subsidy program, and it would more than double the amount of assistance available to small businesses in this very tough time. It's an extraordinary bill, and I think it's got a very good shot at passing.
And about how much money would that cost the American?
The total subsidy fund that has been appropriated by the General Assembly is $15 million.
Let's talk about the environment. I know that is something, again, that's near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you're working on.
You know, the nastiest form of oil production is oil sand production. It happens up in Canada, and the process of extracting the oil out of the sand requires massive amounts of clean water. You blast the oil out of the sand, and that water leaches back into the water table, and it contaminates the water table and the environment. It's very nasty. I was also involved in the Global Warming Solutions Act last year, and very much involved in a working group to come to consensus on that bill over the summer. And we have an agreement on that bill, and the Governor O'Malley is at the tip of the spear on that in terms of leadership on global warming solutions. So I'm very honored to be part of that.
And if you had to rate all of the legislative bills that you're working on, is there one that's at the top of the priority list?
I would put the top of the priority on the shift breaks legislation. It's HB 16. This bill would mandate that every worker in the state of Maryland not under a collective bargaining agreement be given an adequate shift break, 15 minutes at 5 hours, another 15 minutes at 8 hours. You know, there's a direct correlation between the number of worker comp claims that are filed and the length of time that workers work without taking an adequate bill. This is probably the most sweeping public health care bill before the Assembly, and I think it's got an excellent chance of passing as well in the Economic Matters Committee.
And if I'm a shift worker or I'm a constituent of yours in the District of 19, how do I receive more information about this?
You can contact my office. It's Office of Delegate Roger Manno. Most of my constituents have my cell phone number, but you can reach me in my office in Annapolis.
And again, just in terms of your legislative priorities, is there anything else you're working on that you'd like to mention?
There's a whole host of bills, but those are the key bills I'd like to highlight right now. The genetic non-discrimination bills, the Small Business Health Insurance Stimulus Act, HB 4, and the shift breaks bill, which is HB 16. They're all bills that advance the public interest by trying to protect workers and consumers.
You know, when you take a look at some of the genetic issues out there, whether it be sickle cell anemia, whether it be cancer, you mentioned your mother is a breast cancer survivor.
Yes,
if you mention hypertension or diabetes, there's a whole list of issues out there that genetically has nothing to do with you. But again, the healthcare industry out there may say, you know what? You're going to pay more money because of that.
That's right. The notion that you would be summarily denied a policy simply because you have the genetic marker for a disease and there's no likelihood that it will manifest itself is unconscionable.
I totally agree with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And to find out what Comcast is doing in your community, click on the On Demand button and then get local. As always, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good one.